Hey, yo, Foxboro, what's going on? Thank you guys for tuning in to another live stream with me, Sarah Marshall. I feel like I haven't said that in a long time. Usually that's how I would try to introduce myself and try and start the show, but it changes. So anyway, I I think today's show is going to be a little bit different than how I normally do it. Usually I try to talk about the good and the bad from the game, but there's not a whole lot of good that came from this game. So I feel today is going to be just a day to kind of rant and just, I don't know, get our feelings out, I guess, because I feel like I just have a lot to say about this game. So I just want to jump straight into it. And of course, I have to start with some bad stuff. I want to say hi. Make sure I say hi. Hi, Chris. Hi. There's a lot of very unflattering stats that came from this game. And it's just really unfortunate that, the Patriots are making history in this way. It's just... yeah, so there's quite a list. And, in case you're living under a rock, the Patriots did lose 33-14. But before we get into like the bigger storylines of the game, I just wanted to talk about these stats because it's a lengthy list and I feel like it's worthy of being talked about. Okay, my cat is now deciding that she's coming to sit on my lap or try and drink my water. I don't know. All right, so the first of these unflattering stats. Entering Monday Night Football, Bill Belichick's Patriots were 16-0 at home in Week 7 or later against teams with 2 or fewer wins entering the game. So, why not break that stat? The Bears were 2-4 and they beat the Patriots. So that is their first time winning at Foxboro in franchise history. And the list just keeps going, guys. The Bears scored 33 points, and they had these rankings when they came into the game. Their offense was ranked 28th. Their passing offense was dead last, and their points per game at 15 was 31st. The Patriots allowed them to score 33 points. Justin Fields had a field day in Foxboro. His 74 rushing yards were the most by a quarterback in a half versus the Patriots under Bill Belichick. So that's just, lovely. I talked about that on, Saturday, I think, that it was going to be another big test for the Patriots defense, going against another versatile quarterback. I mean, for the most part, people are going to say that he's not super versatile because he doesn't have a great arm, but we know that he can run and can be lethal on the ground just the same way that Lamar Jackson is, and he ate the Patriots defense in the second half. But this was just a domination by Justin Fields throughout the entire game. So, I mean, I know that they were missing Barmore. Then Kyle Duggar went down. I can't remember who else was injured, but I think Barmore was a huge loss. But I can't say that just one player is the reason why their run defense was horrible. But anyway, continuing on, the Bears have not scored 33 points since December 27th of 2020. So nearly 2 years. And this was the 6th time in the Bill Belichick era that the Patriots have surrendered 243 plus rushing yards. I feel like the last time, I want to say it was when they played the Dolphins a couple years ago. I would have to check, but yeah, that's just, I don't know if I wrote this down, but I know I tweeted it. So if you follow me on Twitter, then you've already seen it. But this was also the first time, at least this season, that the Patriots have allowed a running back to score a touchdown. Because why wouldn't it have been? This game was just, one thing after another of them just being like, yeah, sure, you want to break this record for the Patriots and Bill Belichick? Okay, so that was another one. The Patriots defense allowed the highest third down conversion rate in the Bill Belichick era. So indeed, they did it against Indy, it was a 70% conversion rate in 2005. And this was the second most. Yeah. At 68.8%. I mean, they did whatever they wanted to do. Even the things that they were like, we're probably not going to get away with this, it's probably not going to happen, they got away with it. So, a lot of the focus throughout the game and then since the game has been on the offense and the quarterback drama and all of that. But I feel like a lot of people are really looking past the fact that the Patriots defense was non-existent. It's just, I was kind of speechless during the game, honestly, because the defense has been the side that, they've been able to rely on. And that just isn't the case in this game. So it's, the things that they need to improve on the offense seemed obvious for the most part, but I couldn't tell you what their issues were. Let me get to the chat. So Raw94 said it was Bill's ego. I know a lot of people have been saying that. Jeff says hi, hello. Raw says we looked past the Bears and we lost. I think, and that was something, I don't know if you guys were here on Saturday or if you've watched the video. I said that a lot of people had been saying that this was going to be a Patriots blowout, and I'm one of the very few that said I don't feel comfortable with that. And I think that I don't ever feel comfortable with that unless, like, I guess we're talking about the 2007 Patriots. Like, okay, sure, I would feel more comfortable with that. But overall, I don't ever really go into a game thinking that. I don't look past any opponent, so it's just unfortunate that so many people do that. And I would like to believe that the Patriots don't do that, but based off of how they play, I feel like that's how it looked. Chris says the biggest bad for me was the crowd reaction to Mac Jones. Yeah, we're going to get into that because I have a lot to say. It's funny how most everything we talked about in the preview happened. Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, everything that I was like, okay, this can't happen, or, what people were predicting wouldn't happen, did happen. So, it's never good that as just like a fan that you can kind of predict those things. We shouldn't be able to pick those things out. He goes on to say Belichick is a cold-blooded dude for benching Mac. We're going to talk about that as well. And Junk says pass rush was too good that Field started running almost every play, which is a huge problem. Yep. And that's, another thing, like you said already, we talked about that you can't lock down every single receiver, every single target that Fields can possibly throw to, and then leave him open to just take over the game with his legs. And that's just what happened. I mean, I guess this is just another case of a tough lesson that the defense needed to learn, or maybe Belichick needed to see that they need to change something with the run defense because it's clearly not working. And this is just another example that you need to take that seriously, especially going against quarterbacks like this, because these are the type that are becoming more and more prevalent in the NFL. So I'm kind of confused because I'm not seeing my live stream on Twitter. So I'm a little confused. Do you guys see it on Twitter? Could you let me know if you see it on Twitter? Because it's not popping up for me. I'm not seeing it at all. So anyway, continuing on with the unflattering stats, as I said, this was the first win for the Bears against the Pats since December 10th, 2000. It's their first ever win at Foxboro, which I believe I said. It was also their most lopsided regular season win in their games against the Patriots, and it was their biggest win over the Patriots since their 46-10 blowout in the Super Bowl. I mean, this is just, it's so painful just like reading through this. Justin Fields versus the Patriots, according to ESPN, when he was on the run, he was 6 of 7 for 104 yards, which was a career high. All other attempts, he was 7 of 14 for 75 yards. He had when the Bears had 12 designed runs for Justin Fields, which is interesting because coming into this game, it was reported that they hadn't been really drawing those types of plays up. So they definitely were taking advantage of the fact that the Patriots couldn't stop them. He had 55 yards on those designed runs, which was also a career high, and 82 rush yards was the third most by a quarterback versus the Patriots in the Belichick era. So, they have a lot to go through from this game, and it's just kind of unfortunate that it's not good. Things is all bad. So, okay, I saw that Chris said that this is not on my Twitter. I'm kind of confused, but let's see if I can share it this way. Because I think that some of you guys watch on Twitter, so I want to make sure that I'm not ignoring y'all. It's kind of weird because I didn't set it up any differently than I normally do, but anyway, thank you, Chris, for letting me know. So let's move on to the storylines from the game. As I said, this is not going to be the typical way that I normally do these live streams because it was incredibly difficult to try and find any of the good. So although I did try and nitpick at some things, I think that there's just a lot of stuff that we need to talk about. And the first is Mac Jones. I have so much to say about Mac Jones. I was like, every single time I was going on Twitter that night, I was getting, it was the little notification was saying 20 plus new notifications. And I'm like, yeah, because everybody was coming at me about what I was saying on Mac Jones. And I think a lot of people were reacting emotionally because we were in the midst of watching the game, and so many people want the team to win, and of course I do as well. But I think that something that I've talked about a lot over the last almost 3 years is that people feel, to me it seems like there's a lot of people that are still in the Tom Brady mindset of just expecting win after win after win, no matter what is going on with the team or who's on the team or who the quarterback is or, who's on the defense, no matter what. It's just like, for a lot of that time during the Brady era, you could kind of look past some of their deficiencies because it was like, okay, well, we got Belichick, we got Brady. He's going to be able to carry the team, or he's going to be able to make up for whatever they have going on. And that's just not the case anymore. And I would like for people to be able to embrace the growing pains that the Patriots are currently going through. Like, obviously it's not fun to lose. It's not fun to see your game or your team play the way that they did on Monday. Like, that was so frustrating, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm not saying it's not, but I think that completely abandoning Mac Jones is just absurd to me. Jumping on the Zappy bandwagon was absurd to me. I think that we need to, I think a lot of people don't try to look into anything deeper than what they see or what they see on the box score, or try to maybe understand the game a little bit more than, just surface level stuff. I don't know, but everything isn't black and white. It's not just, okay, well, Zappy won 2 games and Mac looks bad, so Mac is bad and we should go with Zappy. That's not how it is. So we know what happened with Mac. He was said to be the starter. He was only in for 3 series. He went 3 of 6 for 13 yards and an interception. He had 3 carries for 24 yards. I'm still confused about what the decision making was coming into this game and deciding that Mac was going to start, but that you're going to pull him. Belichick claimed that was the plan all along in the post game, and said that everybody knew that him, Mac, and Zappy and the coaches all knew that this was the plan, that Mac was not going to play the entire game, that they were going to alternate. But it seemed like the only person to back that up was Mac, and Zappy kind of seemed like he wasn't privy to that information. So that just confused everything further, I think. And it's just unfortunate because I think it just adds even more layers to a complicated situation that doesn't need to be as complicated as now. And then, of course, everyone thought that he was benched. It looked like Mac was benched, and I was one of the few that was saying, I don't know, we'll have to see, because I would like to believe that he wasn't. And when asked about it, Belichick said that wasn't what he did, that it wasn't the traditional benching that everyone is accustomed to seeing. And then also said that it had nothing to do with his ankle, but then also said it kind of had something to do with the ankle. He said that the plan was to have Matt go back in, but that the score got out of hand in the third quarter, and he didn't think that it made any sense for the team to put Mac back in. And hearing that is a little confusing as well, because if you're saying that it wasn't about his ankle, but that it was, but that it wasn't, saying that the score got out of hand makes it seem like, okay, well, if you didn't think that Mac should go back in, were you saying it was because we didn't want to risk him further injuring himself, or we didn't think that he was 100% and so we took him out and we didn't want to put him back in? And I don't know, it's very confusing. And I kind of want to see what you guys have to say. So let's see. Jeff, I can get to your question in a little bit. Chris said, I was going to say that I think some fans are still living in the past glories. This is a rebuild that will take a few years. And I get it. And this is the thing too, is like a lot of what we see on Twitter, especially, or even just on social media in general, is going to be the age group that grew up with Tom Brady as the quarterback, and that's it. They haven't seen anyone else. And for the most part, that's me too. I mean, I lived through the 90s, but I was young and I didn't really pay attention to football until it was Tom Brady at the quarterback at that time. So I'm a part of that era too, but I guess I'm just one of those people that tries to be as optimistic as possible, and I'm just embracing the fact that, I mean, we have a football team. You know, Drunk said the other day that he used to be a Rams fan because he was a Lewis Rams fan, but the team moved and he didn't follow. Like, at least we're not in that situation, guys. And you know, the Patriots have a lot of money next season. They have a lot to figure out. We could be, you know, in a situation where we don't have any quarterbacks, and I know some people are trying to say that, but that's not true. I feel like things could be a lot worse. Simply AK says, we stink, Sarah. I mean, it's not looking very good. I don't disagree. Ross says, man, I'm glad I still don't play. I would have cussed the whole team out, and coaches, just frustrating game. It very much was. Joseph said 1 2 1 testing. I don't know. Can you be on the microphone? I don't hear you. Chris says, if that was the plan, how come the players did not know the plan? So that I thought was interesting. So Matt Chatham, I think I bookmarked his tweet, I think, because he had an interesting take. And the reason I am more inclined, I guess, to believe his tweet is because he is a former player and he played on the Patriots. So, you know, I think that it's a little bit more interesting. But he tweeted out yesterday morning. He said, why would NFL players in one position group ever be told what the expected rotation or playing time for players at another position would be? I don't get it. Has it ever been that way? How did this become a thing right now on a Tuesday? So I agree with that to a certain extent, because, I mean, the defense isn't on the field at the same time as the offense, so they don't necessarily need to know if Mac is coming in or sitting or Zappy's being rotated in and whatnot. But the reaction from even some of the offensive players, I think, was a little bit more telling. I feel like they should have at least been told the situation, because, you know, they're the ones that are working with the quarterback. So I feel like they should have at least been included in the conversation. But maybe that's just, you know, my ignorance speaking, because I haven't been a football player. But Simply says, I'm over 8 BB. Honestly, I've seen a lot of people saying that, so I'm not shocked at all. Continuing on. So, I saw from today too that apparently Mac is set to start at the Jets on Sunday, which I am on board with 100%. I think at this point, Belichick made the situation worse by pulling him and then putting in Zappy. I think that was just the wrong move. But I think that you have to go with Mac for the rest of the season, unless he completely bombs or something. I don't know, but I feel like you said that Mac was your quarterback, and just because he got injured doesn't change that. As much as people wanted to believe that this was a Bledsoe Brady situation, it wasn't. And yeah, so I am on board with that. And then Chris alluded to it earlier, the booing of Mac and then the cheering for Jones. I'm never cool with booing of your team. It doesn't matter if whatever the situation is, a lot of the time you see the booing happen and it has nothing to do with a quarterback change. But I always was happy that it seemed like the fans at Gillette never participated in that, because I've always said anytime it's happened at other stadiums for other teams that I didn't like it. I feel like it's just, I don't know. I don't like it. It's just not good sportsmanship. I feel like, you don't have to agree with what's going on, but, I don't know. I don't like it. I wouldn't do it. And I felt so bad for Mac because it was his first game back from his ankle injury. And I don't know that he was 100%. We see today that he's removed from the injury report. So I would assume that means all signs point to him being fully better. But I don't know. I just felt like I just felt so bad for him, and all the cheers for Zappy were great, for supporting the backup. And then he came in and had 2 really good drives to score on back-to-back touchdowns, but then he didn't do anything else for the rest of the game. So I don't know how that solidified Zappy as the quarterback and how that made sure that Mac doesn't return. I don't know. I just think that, like I said earlier, we need to move past the Brady mindset, expecting these incredible wins no matter what and no matter who the team is playing. It's just not, that's just not where we're at. That's not where the team is at. And we need to just stop setting ourselves up for disappointment, because that's what's happening when you have that mindset, basically. Jeff says, Sarah, who do you think is to blame, the offense or the defense, for the loss of the game? I don't know that there's one side that is more to blame, honestly. I think I was more shocked about the defense because the offense has been pretty inconsistent. I mean, they've been pretty good the last 2-3 games, so that was surprising, but the defense has been playing really well, and there are some players that were still playing okay. They were still playing well, Judon, for instance. I'll talk about him in a second, but I think I guess if I had to choose, I would say the defense is more to blame, because the Bears offense is not good. They don't really have anybody on their offense other than Mooney and Kmet, which we've talked about. And then, they have their run game with Montgomery and Herbert, but they just did really well at stopping Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They did really well against the Lions with stopping Williams, I think. So there's no reason for it to have blown up as badly as it did. And if the secondary is doing well at protecting the receivers, then there's no reason to have Justin Fields run all over you. I mean, it was just like flashbacks of the playoff game last year against the Bills. It was just like Josh Allen could do whatever he wanted, and that was what Justin Fields did. Raw says, man, Mac has to do better of taking care of the football. Yes, I think I don't know exactly what that is, but I'm not someone that believes that there is a big conspiracy of him regressing. I feel like there's something deeper than that, and I wouldn't be surprised if it has to do with the coaching. A lot of people have mentioned Matt Patricia, and he had been looking better. I mean, offensively, it seemed better. But yeah, that was just not good. I also had a tweet. I don't remember if I bookmarked it. I know I tweeted it. I quote tweeted it. Let's see. I've tweeted a lot today. So, okay, let me block this or favorite it. So they compared, this is Kari Thompson. He works for WEEI. He posted numbers comparing how the Patriots are using Mac Jones compared to how they are currently using, oh my goodness, Bailey Zappi. So last year, Mac Jones was 4th in percentage of snaps under center at 28.9, and 27.1% of passes were play action, which Zappi is currently 18% under center and 22% at play action. This year, Mac is only he has only 10% of snaps under center and 10% of play action. So I'm very confused, because that was something that I had mentioned on Twitter a lot, was that there is a big difference between how they're game planning and play calling between Mac and Zappi, and a lot of people wanted me to show them examples, and I mean, I'm not someone who sits there and watches film and can break film down. I've never claimed to be that person, but I feel like it was just obvious. I mean, the biggest example of it would be to see how Brian Hoyer started the game against the Packers and how the game plan changed the second Zappi came in. It was different. You saw Hoyer was playing more of the classic Patriots offense, and Zappi came in was playing more of like a college offense. It seemed everything had been fine-tuned to be what was best for the quarterback in there. And I feel like with Mac, they're still trying to implement whatever new stuff they were trying to do at the beginning of the season and throughout the preseason, and it's just not working. And I just don't understand at all why you would try and change something that wasn't not working. I mean, Mac played well last year, so why are we basically running away from everything that worked for him last year and trying to implement new stuff that's clearly not working? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I've seen people who have said there's a conspiracy theory that Matt Patricia doesn't like Mac Jones, and that's what the issue is. I know that people believe that about Kendrick Bourne, and I'm not disagreeing with that at all, but Mac Jones, I mean, it's possible. We know how Patricia can be. He can be kind of fickle and hold grudges, so I don't know. Chris says that Mac Jones was part of 90% of the reps of practice today. I did see that. And he said coaching hits it coaching nail hit right on the head. Yeah. Ross says, I still think Bill should have let Troy Brown be the OC and see how it went. I know a lot of people liked that. I kind of like the idea of hiring within. I think that, you know, if we were going to go with somebody who had a defensive background, then I would have been more on board with seeing Troy Brown. But, you know, it's such a complicated situation too, because Belichick has still not officially named Patricia as the OC. So when people are talking about like the fact that he's calling plays, it's like, well, he can argue back and be like, okay, well, I never said he was. So it's a hot mess, guys. And I want to talk about the interception, Mac Jones's interception. And I have to try and see if there's a way that I can share my screen, because I wanted to show you guys in case you did not. How do I share my screen? I don't know. I never know how to share my screen on here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, so in case you guys didn't see, so I want to talk about this really quick. So the biggest thing about Mac's performance on Monday were people talking about his interception and how bad it was and blah blah blah, and it didn't look like a good throw. It looked underthrown. And over the last 2 days, there has been video that has shown that it looks like his pass was hit the ESPN Skycam wire, and that could have possibly made it possible for the interception to happen, because if you watch the play, it looks like it could have resulted in an interception. I'm not taking that away, but it also looks like it could have ended up being a 50-50 ball between Smith and Brisker, or it could have ended up being just an incompletion. So a Bills fan, ironically, is the one who first posted the video, and I wanted to make sure that I could share that. So, let's see. Wait, what? Oh yeah, entire screen. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen, guys. Okay, so this is the original clip here that he posted. He said, "Is it just me, or did Mac Jones' interception hit the line that the sky cam is attached to? It wasn't underthrown by much. This had to affect it." And this is, you got to take this for what it is, because it's also a Bills fan. So if you can see right here, it hits the wire right there. So Doug Kyde, I don't know if he just came across it or someone sent it to him, but he decided to take video from the game and just slow the play down and rewind it. So obviously you can see that it actually it wasn't that underthrown, but you can see it looks like it could possibly touch the wire right there. And so he posted that. He then followed that up by quote tweeting this, I believe. I think he did, yes. So this is someone who really zoomed in on the football right as it hits. Oh, I didn't know that he had the noise. But you can see right there that the football hits it. Right there. Yeah, so that has put a wrench in the entire thing, I think. And then ESPN had the gall, I mean, are we really surprised, to release a statement on the situation. And they said the pass from Mac Jones did not hit ESPN's Skycam wiring. The video creates a false impression, but in reality, the Skycam wire was more than 15 feet above the ball, and our Skycam system followed all NFL protocols. That's a lie. I don't know if you guys could see it as clearly as I do. If you have Twitter, please feel free to look at my page, because I did retweet it, I believe. So if you want a better look at it, please check that out. But I also wrote about it for Musket Fire, and I'm going to take a look, because it's in the rule book that if something like that happens, the play is supposed to be called dead. So it says in the NFL rule book, quote, if a loose ball in play strikes a video board, guide wire, Skycam, or any other object, the ball will be dead immediately and the down will be replayed at the previous spot. So the problem with this is that they would have had to see that in real time. And then there would have had to be proof beyond a reasonable doubt that the wire did in fact interfere with the trajectory of the football. It's very, very, very unlikely that any of them would have seen that. Belichick definitely couldn't see that. I'm sure that whoever they have up in the booth didn't see it. I'm sure, it's a situation that I guess some people did see it. I saw some people tweet me that they actually did tweet about it during the game, that they thought that it hit the wire. So there's some people who did, some people who didn't, but I think that even if the Patriots had raised concern about it possibly hitting the wire, I don't think that it would have resulted in anything, because it didn't look like they had anything conclusive that would have been able to overturn it. So it probably wouldn't have led to anything anyway. On top of that, and I mentioned this in my article, so for all the people who think I'm just biased, I am not. I did say it looks like the wire and the ball collided. It looks like it changed the trajectory of the football. But did it completely alter the result of the play? I don't know. We will never know. Could it have ended in an interception anyway? Yes. Could it have ended up in a catch by Jonnu Smith? Possibly. Could it have ended up in an incompletion? Possibly. We'll never know. We just know that at this point, it is being said that it was an interception, and it is what it is. So there's really nothing that we can do about it at this point. But it's just very frustrating to then see the video, and it's so clear to anybody who can watch it that the two collided, and ESPN is coming out and saying it didn't. It just adds even more frustration. Ray says it was big time foggy and wouldn't have been able to see it. Yeah, and that's why it's like even if they had seen it, I just don't think that they would have won the challenge, because it would have had to have been a challenge by the Patriots, or it would have had to have been reviewed by the referees, and the fact that they called it an interception on the field, very unlikely that they would have then saw enough evidence to overturn it. So, it's an unfortunate situation, but I think the fact that the fans booed Mac, that he was ripped to shreds online all night and since the game, it's just really unfortunate that he was turned on so quickly, and then this comes out and it's like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't that bad, because it definitely wasn't overthrown as much as people want to say. I have people arguing with me on Facebook right now about how it was overthrown. It was a bad throw. So Chris says, at the end of the day, the play really did not change the outcome of the game, and the Patriots were really poor regardless. Yeah, and I didn't mean, and I'm not implying at all that had this resulted in a catch, that the rest of the game would have gone differently. Clearly the defense wasn't pulling their weight either. So, if the entire team is not playing well, then nothing would have changed. But I think that this might have changed maybe some people's feelings on Mac, because so many people were saying he deserves to be benched, that he sucks, that he never should have been drafted, he needs to go somewhere else, blah, blah, blah. It's just so fair weather fan like that it's just really disappointed. And I was being dragged during the game and kind of since, but it's died down a bit. But I was being dragged for defending him, and it's just unfortunate because I ended up being kind of correct. I wasn't wrong. Anyway, so let's see, what else do I have? So here's some more unfortunate storylines. So after the botched handoff between Bailey Zappi and Jacoby Myers, which was at the 31-minute and 30-second mark of the second half, the Bears had 33 plays, 165 yards, 5 yards per play, and 21 minutes, 30 seconds time of possession. In that same time, the Patriots had 22 plays for 67 yards, 3 yards per play, and 10 minutes. So, it was just not good. It was just not a good showing at all. And if you want to see some good breakdowns from on Twitter comparing the touchdowns basically that Zappi has gotten in his 2 starts, check out Patriots POV. He posted a couple images to show you that it was basically blown coverages that led to the touchdowns, that it's not just, Zappi coming in and just being amazing and Mac is just crap. It's just not. So you should check that out. And then maybe I could post these. I don't know, but I might just do that. So this is I talked about this on the stream on Saturday about the stats between when the offense is on the field with Bailey Zappi compared to the offense when it is on the field with Mac Jones. And I'm going to post those in the chat so you guys can see it, because I think it's just, it just looks okay. Well, that just looks like a hot mess. I'll post them both, but it just shows you the difference also in how productive the offense is and how Mac basically is better in every single one except for turnover worthy plays, which I think, it is what it is. Ray said you had people defending him on your post too, Sarah. Yes, I did. I was just getting so many notifications. It was so hard to keep up with. It was like, I felt like I was alone. And Ron94 says Trent looked horrible too. I'm about to get into that. The next one I wanted to talk about was the penalties. So the penalties were not a huge issue really in this game, surprisingly. I was actually shocked when I looked at the stats for the game that the Patriots were only penalized 4 times. And then I realized that it was all from Trent Brown. So that was shocking. You know, Isaiah Wynn was I would assume, I don't know if he was a healthy scratch because he had been on the injury report with his shoulder, but he wasn't in this game. So I guess Trent Brown decided that he was going to pay homage to his teammate and decide that he was going to take all of the penalties. So that was really unfortunate and not usually something we see from Trent Brown. So I hope that that's just like a one-time thing, because we cannot be doing that. We can't be doing that. Injuries were a big problem too. We saw Kyle Duggar went out in the game and he looked like he was noticeably limping in the post game, and then David Andrews had that dirty hit that now has put him into concussion protocol, which is really unfortunate. I mean, unless he somehow clears in the next 2-3 days, 2-ish days, I would assume that he's probably going to miss it, which again is a huge blow to no matter what quarterback is playing, because he is their center and they haven't worked with anybody else at center. So that's going to be a problem. And then I did allude to, there was a little bit of good. So Matt Judon, of course, he is a beast. He's just the most solid piece on the defense once again. So he had 4 tackles in this game, 2.5 sacks, and a pass breakup. Right now, he leads the league in sacks at 8.5, which is huge because, I mean, there's a stiff competition out there and for those that get sacks. There's Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons. So Judon is leading the way once again. I'm thankful he is on the Patriots. And his stats right now through 7 games, he's on par in a lot of categories to have his best career season once again. So he has 2 passes defended, which the most in his career is 3. So it looks like he could possibly be breaking that. He has 2 forced fumbles on the year. Most in his career is 4. 8.5 sacks. His most in his career was last season with 12.5 for 10 or 11 more games. He has plenty of time to just dominate that stat. He has 27 tackles, 7 tackles for a loss, and he leads the league he leads the team with 15 quarterback hits. So he is just a complete menace. And I'm so glad that at least the defense had him on the field on Sunday or Monday, because they were struggling. So thank you to Judon. He is like, I want him to never leave the team at this point. And then Ramondre Stevenson continues to come alive. He had 11 carries for 39 yards and a touchdown. And he was 8 of 8 for 59 yards with a long of 20 in this game. So I was really excited to see him in the passing game a lot, because he was reportedly working on it a lot throughout the offseason, and they were trying to involve him more in the preseason. So we finally got to see that in this game, and I thought that was great. I wasn't expecting that he went perfect with 8 of 8, but considering how the offense has looked and how the offense looked in this game, it was nice to see that they had at least one reliable person catching passes. So shout out to Ramondre for drastically improving in that aspect of his game. And then, unless you guys have more to say, that's all I have to say right now. I would appreciate you guys checking out my articles. I put out 3 today, with Musket Fire, and I think that's all I have for articles today. So I would appreciate you guys checking those out. And I did create a Patriots Facebook group. I posted that on Twitter. I'm just retweeting it right now. If you can be a positive voice, then please join it, because that's what I'm trying to do. Keep the positivity going in the Patriots fandom, because there's so much negativity and I don't want to see it, especially because Facebook is such a breeding ground for hate too. I mean, it's not just Twitter. So that would be cool if you guys could join that. Hopefully we can get some more people to join. I think I only had like 14 people at this point, and I think that if it just doesn't work, I'll probably just delete it. But it would be cool if you guys would join. Oh, I'm gonna block you. Ross says, Sarah, are you going to watch the game with us on stream on Sunday? We need more of us fans streaming. Where are you streaming? Let me know. I possibly could. I'll have to see how that would work. But yeah, let me know where you're streaming it. And then I can see if I can figure that out. I was going to see, oh yeah, I'm going to block this person too. How weird is it that I have some weird trolls in here today? Anyway, I'm going to wait on Raw just to see if he'll answer. So then I can not miss what you have to say before I go. But anyway, guys, thank you for the few of you that are always here, always chatting with me, always joining. Thank you for all the support you guys have done. And if you guys are reading my articles, I appreciate it. I'm having by far my craziest, best month in views. So I appreciate that. It's really cool to see. And if you're into WWE stuff, please check out that article as well. I posted one on Bray Wyatt on PW Mania. It's a column. I also tweeted that out. But if you want to just go to pwmania.com and check out the columns, I will be there as well. I need to try and put some more content, some more wrestling content out. And I don't think that I'm going to do a watch along for Crown Jewel, but I might react. I might do like a post-show reaction with Pat on my channel. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, I think that'll probably be around after, it's probably late for you guys on the East Coast, but you know, if in case you are still up, I think it would probably be past 11 p.m. on the East Coast. And yes, she is. I guess she gave up. Wait, oh, there she is. You give up? Did you give up? Now she's like, why are you talking to me? Okay, well, before I get too boring, I am going to go, but I will be back on Friday to go over the Patriots at Jets game. And now we know that it's going to be Mac Jones. So I will be here on Friday on E2G Sports channel, my YouTube channel, on Twitter. Hopefully it'll go to my Twitter. And we can talk all about it on Friday before the Celtics game, because the Celtics do not play again until Friday. So I will see you guys then. In Raw 94, just leave a comment or tweet me about where you'll be streaming so I can see what you're talking about. Otherwise, I will see you guys on Friday. And don't forget, go Pats. Bye, guys.